Hey, my name is Ben Fraser. I'm the founder of Ready.Set.Van, and behind me I have one of our latest builds that I'm super excited to share. This is an all-wheel drive Sprinter 170 with our Hudson build inside. They made lots of great choices throughout, and I think they're just going to absolutely love this. They're picking it up in a couple days, and their plan is really just to go see all of North America, and I think this van's going to be perfect for that. Super capable with the all-wheel drive, of course, but then also it's just got an absolutely gorgeous home that they've nicely appointed inside. And yeah, I'm excited to share it, so let's crack into it. Before I get into the details, I just want to take a moment to comment on just how beautiful this van is. I absolutely love the look. I love this color of the Sprinter van in particular. I just think it's super sharp, and I love all the choices they made here too. So it's sort of a nice combination of both being badass and also being a bit understated, and I really like it. I think it's super sharp, and it's going to serve exactly the needs that they have. So up front here, we have the Tenzing bumper. This bumper is really great. You know, it's going to give them a little protection if they have a mishap or something. It just looks really sharp as well. In the future, if they want to add some lights to the front, that's easy for us to do. Of course, we added a set of raceline wheels with some all-terrain tires. Those are going to be fantastic for them. You know, the Sprinter all-wheel drive is a very, very capable vehicle, and you combine that with a set of, you know, decent all-terrain tires, and you can go pretty much anywhere. You know, they're not going to go rock crawling in this thing, but that's not their intention anyway. And they just want to have the peace of mind of knowing that if they're looking down some, you know, some dark, dirt road or something like that, that they're going to be fine, and they absolutely will be. We didn't do any big suspension package for them. However, we did upgrade the rear leaf pack for them to increase the spring rate back there to offset the weight of the build. So it drives perfectly. It's just a pleasure. So they're going to absolutely love that. Coming down the sides, of course, we have, you know, windows all the way around. All of these windows here and the windows on the other side are the flat tinted Arctic Tern windows that I just absolutely love. They're just really sharp. Of course, they decided to go with a lighting package, which I very much recommend. It really makes a difference, you know, when you're getting into a campsite late at night. You can't really see everything. You want to make sure that, you know, you're not going to hit an obstacle on the side of your van or something like that if you're like trying to tuck it into the woods somewhere. So it's really nice to be able to just turn those lights on and look all around. So they have lights on the passenger side, they have lights on the driver's side, lights on the rear, and then they also have this light bar up top. So that'll be really great for them. All of that is controlled from the SwitchPros system, which I'll show you a little bit later. One of the things that's nice about that is, you know, there's an app that controls it. So if you are at camp and you just want to get a little bit of light real quick, you pull your phone out and turn the lights on. So that's really great. Coming around the back, of course, we have the Owl spare tire and ladder combo that has kind of just become the staple of Sprinter builds, I guess, and for good reason. It's just really well made. It looks really sharp. It does exactly what it's meant to do, and it's great. So that's super. With that, they're going to be able to get up onto the roof. You know, we have our Orion roof rack up here that we decked over the entire roof, so they can get up there. They can walk around up there. They have 350 watts of walkable solar that they can walk around on there as well. So lots of flexibility for whatever they want to do up there. There is also up there the Starlink antenna, which has been fantastic. I have it on my van and I use it all the time. I'm a huge fan of the Starlink. You know, for that, they're going to need clear line of sight to the sky. So if you're under a lot of trees, you're not really going to get a signal. But if you do have sky above you, you're going to have a pretty awesome connection, which is fantastic. That's really been a game changer. Of course, also we have the Fiamma awning here as well. So that comes out about 10 feet or so, and it's really, really super. These guys chose to go with an electric sliding door here, and one of my favorite things to do whenever we have a Sprinter with an electric sliding door is to also put in the retractable running board steps, which I think are really great. So I don't know, I just love the fact that, you know, you just hit this button, your door opens, and your steps come out, and it's just lovely. I think it's really, really great. It is really nice having a step here to help you get in, because this step up here is a lot. So whether you do a retractable running board like this or whether you do a fixed step, either one's great, but you kind of want something, at least in my opinion, when you've got a Sprinter. So let's get inside. So as always, we put swivels on both the driver and passenger seats, and I absolutely love sitting here because you can just see the whole van behind you. It's really beautiful, and yeah, I don't know, it's great. I'm going to switch seats in a minute, and you'll kind of get my vantage point when I move the camera, but I wanted to show you something real quick, which is this unit up here. So This is the control panel for the SwitchPros that I mentioned for the lighting controls. The SwitchPro is really fantastic. It's a little bit on the expensive side, but it's really well done. It's highly programmable, very flexible. It's super. We can run all kinds of things off of it. And Agile Offroad makes this really nice mount that just ties up right up here above the rearview mirror, and it's just super sharp. It just looks, it looks like it came with a van. It just looks like looks like how it's meant to be, and I really like that. So we have buttons here to control all the lights that we talked about a minute ago. But then something else I want to show you here is these two buttons at the bottom here actually control the electric ball valves that we have mounted on the gray tanks. So what's really nice is, if you're driving down a back road or something and you're in a place where you feel like it's acceptable to empty your gray tanks, you can just reach up here and hit this button. It'll open up those ball valves and you can drain out your gray tanks. Of course, you can use that as well if you're draining at a dump station or something like that, but super nice having this right up here. You just go up, hit it, and when you get to your next campsite, all your tanks are emptied, and it's really great. So, all right, I'm going to pop over to this seat, and we'll keep going. Okay, so welcome to the inside of the Hudson. This is absolutely my favorite layout of all of our layouts. I just love the Hudson. It's just my jam. This particular Hudson was built by our builder, Jack, who is absolutely fantastic. His attention to detail is just extraordinary. He's really, really focused on it and does just a superb job. One of the things also about Jack is that, this is actually like a lot of really great craftspeople that I know, is that not only do they like making the beautiful, perfect thing, but they very much enjoy the process of making the beautiful, perfect thing, if that makes sense. That joy of making the thing, of the process of making that thing, can kind of be stolen in a way if something is wrong with the process. And Jack was very aware with this Hudson. We'd made a number of them before, but we were all aware that there were a number of improvements that needed to happen in our process, not so much the final product, but in the process that really needed to be ironed out. And when Jack started this van, he really spearheaded an effort to try and nail down and knock out all of those process improvements, and I really, really appreciate him doing that. One of the changes that we made was realizing that, each of these vans that we have going that has an individual builder in them, there's a certain kind of siloed institutional knowledge that each one of those builder has. They come across something like, oh, this should be better, I need to fix that, so on. But trying to get all that information into one place so that then we can, funnel that into a workflow to actually make changes happen. We created like the simplest little piece of software. It's just a ticketing system so that each one of our builders, when they come across an issue in a van, they can pull out their phone, they'll tag whatever model it is, like Hudson, maybe it's the kitchen cabinet, and they can take a photo and whatever, add some details and stuff to it, and log that issue. The beauty of it, and because we have our own full-fledged CNC-based cabinet shop, the sort of iterative loop of improvements we're able to make happen on a much smaller time scale, which is kind of fantastic. So for example, if Jack was building this van and he noticed an issue with his overhead, he could submit a ticket for it, mark it as urgent, and Chris, our CAD designer, then will look at that, make the manufacturing file, which is the file that needs to be fed into our CNC machine, send that over to Kaylee, who's our CNC operator. She'll start doing it. Chris can then update the documentation for that, send that over to the cabinet shop so they know what to expect when those parts come out. If everything's humming along, there's a chance that those parts might make it back here to Jack's van within a couple hours. I don't know of another van production company that has their own full-fledged cabinet shop. Every single company I've ever met, they outsource it all, which is fine. And there are a lot of benefits to that, not the least of which is not carrying the overhead of personnel and equipment. But the beauty in our case is that when we're trying to make quick changes and really trying to iterate and improve on this van, before we start the next ones, being able to tighten that iterative loop down to something that's measured in hours instead of weeks, if you're outsourcing it, is kind of huge. I really, really appreciate Jack kind of spearheading the effort to really try and get all of our process honed on this van, so that these other vans that are in the shop right here are going much more smoothly, less rework, less issues where, the builder is frustrated because, oh, this thing needed to change and we didn't change it. So he's a fantastic builder. He's very passionate about what he does, and I really appreciate his work. But let's talk about this van. So as I mentioned, I absolutely love the interior of this van, and anybody who's watched my videos before knows that I'm just a sucker for Walnut. I just love it. And so I'm very happy that they chose Walnut. For the floor, we have a acacia hardwood, engineered hardwood floor, which is actually fantastic. It's incredibly durable. In fact, I think it's more durable than most of the vinyl products that are out there. It's easy to repair, and it just looks spectacular. It's just really, really nice. It's what I have in my van, and I love it. Of course, we have these walnut butcher block countertop material for the kitchen, and then also for the dinette here. This butcher block is sealed and sanded over and over and over again, and it just feels like it feels so nice. To my left here, of course, we have the Arctic Turn window, which is a really big one. I love it. It's huge. I mean, that's just really nice. To be able to sit here and have this giant window open just seems pretty deluxe. Of course, we have a bug screen down here, and we also have a blackout shade here, and we can close it back up, which is great. Above me, we have a linear LED hooked up over here to this dimmer. Of course, every light in the van is hooked up on a dimmer. This light is really nice because you can have all the other lights off in the van and be over here with this on, and not really be casting a lot of light back into the back of the van. So if somebody wants to be sleeping in the back of the van and you want to be reading here, you can both kind of do that and not really bother each other, which is nice. Above me here we have our overheads. The front one is empty. The back one just has a small safe stored in it. Sometimes in the back we'll put a microwave inside, but in this case we just have a little safe. Below me here is a drawer that pulls out below this seat, a nice big drawer, and then this seat actually folds into a bed. So the way that works is, we pop this table off, and then we fold the base of the seat out, and then we tip the back of the seat down, a couple more maneuvers, and next thing you know, you've got a bed that's about 6 feet. It's not the most comfortable bed in the world, but it is serviceable. It is 6 feet long, and it's fine. I would sleep on it, but of course, I'd rather sleep in the bed. Let's go check out the kitchen. So here we have the kitchen galley in this Hudson build, and we do a couple different styles of kitchen for the Hudson. This is what I typically would call our 2/3 kitchen, and then we also do a full kitchen. So the 2/3 typically stops like just a little bit into the slider here, and our full kitchen takes up about half of the slider. So what's nice about this smaller kitchen is, your entire slider is basically open. So if you got a couple people getting in and out, people just, there's just a lot more freedom of movement. So this kitchen is, with this leaf folded down, we're at about 36 inches right here. And then with this leaf folded up, that's another 16. So what is that, 52 inches. Almost every other builder uses like that ratcheting hardware that when you lift this up, it's like, makes a lot of noise. It rattles when you drive. I don't know, there's just a bunch of things about it that that irritate me. And so we came up with a solution a couple years ago, and it's been absolutely great. And so the first thing is we use these are actually commercial grade door hinges. So these are, hinges for hanging like big metal doors. The reason we use them is because they're stainless steel, and they allow for us to use much beefier screw hardware into the countertop. It's just going to be much more durable. Typically people will use, if they don't use that ratcheting hardware, they'll use like a piano hinge along here. And piano hinges are great in certain applications, but they're not great in this application. They will tend to, the tiny little screws will tend to come out, and eventually you're going to have a situation. One main thing we do is, instead of using the kind of ratcheting hardware, we have a heavy-duty drawer slide underneath with a 3D printed handle on it, and that comes out and that supports this leaf that opens up. And what's nice about that is, number one, it's incredibly strong. They're rated for hundreds of pounds. So it's a nice solid platform. It also means that, like, visually, there's nothing. This just floats. There's kind of nothing supporting it. If you're outside of the van, you can see the handle, but it's very minimal. Of course, the other main thing with this is that then, because we're using this drawer slide, there is no rattling. When this is folded down and against the cabinet, it's held against the cabinet with some very strong magnets, so it's not going to be swinging around or anything. So all that's taken care of. As with everything, whether it's our overhead doors or this countertop or anything else, all of the grain in this leaf extends into the countertop, extends through the cutting board here. It's just a small detail that just kind of makes everything seem just as it should. In the center here, we have our Rivati 15-inch sink. This is a great sink. It's nice and deep. It's big enough to do everything you need, but it's not taking up lots of extra space in your kitchen, making it more difficult to do other things. Of course, over here we have all of our dimmers, 12-volt supply, 110 outlets. We have on-off switch here to disable our automatic lock. Just about all of our vans at this point have an automatic electromagnet-based locking system that we developed here. So that when you turn on your van, all of these drawers just operate like drawers do at your home, like on self-closing drawer slides. All of these drawers make contact with an electromagnet in the back. When you turn the van on, that electromagnet is charged and enabled, and it will hold this drawer closed. And so it's been absolutely fantastic. I honestly don't know why nobody else does this. I have no idea. Because it's really simple, and it works very well. And so it's just great. You don't have to think about locking your doors and making sure you locked and latched everything. You turn on the van, everything just locks immediately. And so this switch here is a bypass switch. So if you want to disable those because the van's running and you need to get something out of this drawer, you just flip that switch and you can turn the lock off. We have a hot water switch over here, and then up here we have the Victron touchscreen for the servo. So that's nice. So you can get your water levels, your battery levels, all your system's information is all right in there, which is really great. Of course, right on top of here we have a single burner induction cooktop. People often ask about what you do about cooking right next to your bed. And we provide a little piece of acrylic that you basically just tuck down in here next to the mattress. If you are going to be making something that's sort of messy and splattery, you just kind of tuck that in there as a little splash guard. Works great. And then I recommend people, they just store it under the mattress. They just tuck it under there when they're done. Works great. Under the kitchen here, under the countertop, we've got a cabinet here for our trash can. And over here we have the Dometic CRX80, which is an awesome fridge. I've been a big fan of that. And then down on the floor, we have a little pop-out kick drawer that's kind of like a little hidden drawer. It's a little secret drawer, if you will. It's always nice to have a little secret spot where you can kind of stash things. Okay, and then behind me here we have our center drawer stack. I'm going to get to the drawers in just a second, but I want to talk about this first. This is a perforated piece of aluminum that's in this little opening here. And there's a little switch right here that if I flip that switch, it's going to turn on 3 computer fans that are in the garage. And what they're going to do is they're going to start drawing air in through this perforated sheet and then blowing that air into the garage. And the purpose for that is to eliminate the possibility of mold developing under your mattress if you're using your van a lot in the winter. If that's something you're not aware of, basically the danger is that if you don't heat your garage is going to be super cold, your bed platform is going to be super cold, and the warm, moist air that's in the rest of your van will kind of migrate through your mattress, and you'll end up having condensation on the underside of your mattress, which is cold, and then you'll get mold. So the surefire solution to that is just make sure that your garage isn't cold. This is that simple. And so this right here, you just flip this on in the winter months. The fans are almost silent, and that will keep warm air just moving through the garage and making sure that's well ventilated, and you don't have any issues with that. So that's super nice. And then right here we have our drawer stack. So these drawers are super deep, and the top drawer is about 26 inches deep, which is really nice. You can put tons and tons of stuff in here. And then these bottom 2 drawers have a very specific purpose. They also operate as steps to get up into bed. Really nice. They come, you know, out a whole bunch. It makes it super easy to get in and out of bed. Of course, there's storage inside as well, which is also great. So yeah, big fan of this drawer unit. Of course, they lock in and they lock out as well. So when they're in their stair mode, they're locked in place. So you step on them, they're not going to move at all. So yeah, so that works really well. And yeah, let's talk about the shower. So for our bathroom, we have a classic Ready.Set.Van shower enclosure here, which means that we have an all-white acrylic enclosure. The acrylic is super nice because it's just easy to clean. It's glossy. It has like a glass-like finish to it, and we just love it. It's just bright white and wonderful. And you know, on the floor we have a stainless steel shower pan that it goes under the whole thing. That's welded and fabricated locally. What's nice about that, aside from the fact that it's just really, really well made and will last forever, is also that it's just like, it's not one of those crappy like FRP or fiberglass shower pans that are just kind of squishy and crappy. It's just really solid and nice. And of course, on top of that, we put a teak mat so that your bare feet can be on teak, which is always nice. These guys chose to go with a cassette toilet, but we can put just about any toilet in here. But the cassette toilet is great, and I think it's probably the most popular choice that we put in. But we put all kinds of toilets in. So, and if you have toilet questions, I did a video recently for an hour where I went through every single toilet, so you can watch that. But yeah, and otherwise we have a shower mixer right over here, and we have a shower head up here. The shower door is this Nautilus shower door that works really, really well. It's just a nice, simple product that we're big fans of. Of course, in this van, our fan is located right above the shower and also right above the kitchen here. So if you have that on exhaust, you're going to get the steam out of the van real quick, and it's not going to travel around in the van. So that's always nice. All right, let's check out the bed. So of course, one of the great features of the Hudson layout is this enormous king bed. This is what's somebody decided to call an RV short king. It means that it's 75 in this direction, 72 in this direction. It's not actually a king size bed. It's, you know, whatever, you know, assuming you have a king size bed at home, this is not as big as that. But it's as big as, you know, you can put in a van. So it literally fills the space side to side, and you wouldn't want to go much more in this direction either. So it's a huge mattress. It's super luxurious, super deluxe. It's, well, I mean, it's just great. I really wish I had a bed this big in my van. Over here on either side of the bed, we have two more Arctic Tern windows. They awning out just like the window over there. Same thing with the bug screen and the blackout shade. Really, really nice to have those cracked open, put the fan on exhaust, and just have fresh air just coming in over the bed at night would just be delightful. Over here we've got some overhead storage, you know, 3 of them, nice and big, great for clothes and whatnot. Sometimes we'll do other storage over on this side as well. We can do that. This client decided not to. And of course, above us here is a Hofton 9500 BTU AC unit. This AC unit puts out tons and tons of cold. It's really very, very powerful. We can also install like the Dometic 12-volt AC unit or any of the other companies that make a DC AC unit, if that makes sense. In our experience, those units tend to run around 5,000 or 6,000 BTUs. This being about 9,500 BTUs, it just puts out a lot more, especially with a big van like a 170. You don't want to fool around with not having enough cooling. That said, we can put whatever you want in, but this has been our preference, and it works out really great. All right, let's check out the garage. So front and center here in the garage is this bed slide. So this is super handy. We can be able to unlock this and slide basically the whole garage area outside, be able to get at the stuff in the back, organize things. It's just really a lot nicer than having to climb back in there every time to get every single thing. Yeah, I don't know, big fan of the bed slide. Up there you can see the back of our center cabinet. That's where those drawers that also turn into steps that let you get up into bed. That's the back side of that cabinet. And up at the top there, you can see the 3 computer fans that I mentioned for doing the recirculation of air through the garage. So that's what those guys are. Over on this side, we have our electrical cabinet, and inside our electrical cabinet, we have our 3,000 watt Victron inverter. That thing is awesome. It'll power all, your AC unit, your hot water heater, your induction cooktop, your outlets, and anything else like that. Of course, right behind there, we have your DC breakers, your DC fuses and your AC breakers. We also have on board this van, we have 400 amp hours of battery bank. There's actually room for him to increase that should he decide he wants to. I think he's going to be fine with 400 based on from what it sounds like. And then also down here, we've got all the rest of our electrical components. So we've got our DC-DC charger, our solar charge controller, and all that stuff. Everything is meticulously labeled by our electrician and organized in a way that, you shouldn't have to get in here, but even if something came up and you did need to go sort of take a look around, it's very obvious what it is. And certainly if you ended up, somebody needed to service it, it's all very, very clear exactly what it is, what's going on. So that's really, really good. Over on this side, we've got our plumbing system. So in this plumbing cabinet, we've got 40 gallons of fresh water. You fill it right up here. What's nice about this system is that you click onto that connector when the water reaches to the top of the tank. Basically, it goes into an overfill pipe, and that water ends up spilling out under the van. So what's nice is, when you want to fill this up, you literally just click the hose on and wait until water starts splashing out onto the van, and you're done. That's all you got to do. Unclick the hose, and you're all set. When you want to winterize this system, it's even easier. There's literally just one switch. You flip that switch. There are 3 electric ball valves in the system that are all at the low points. The whole system is designed to just drain out by gravity. So you just flip that switch, the ball valves open, everything just drains out, and that's all you got to do. So super, super nice. Of course, we also have an outdoor shower back here that's also hooked up to the hot water heater. So so you just click on out here, you can rinse yourself off, take a whole shower, whatever you want to do. It's hooked up to the same hot water tank that the shower is hooked up to. So it's a 4-gallon hot water heater. So our general strategy with our utilities is to over-engineer them so they're more reliable than you need them to be, over capacity so they provide more than you need. And that's certainly the case here. Like, your 40 gallons of water is a ton of water. For vans, for people who want to, have a little more water than the 40 gallons, we can also do an auxiliary tank in the spare compartment under here. And that'll add another 27 gallons. These guys definitely don't need it, and they're going to be just fine with 40 gallons. So, all right, let's head around the side and wrap it up. So I pretty much always shoot these videos after work when it's quiet in the shop, because there's lots of tools going and just lots of noises, and it would be impossible to shoot a video. And as a result, pretty much every time I end up finishing these videos like really late at night. It's almost 2 o'clock in the morning right now. I need to go home. I just want to give a quick shout out to Jack for the extraordinary job he did on this van. It really is beautiful inside. The attention to detail, everything is just exactly as it should be, and it's just an extraordinary job. And I really appreciate everything he did, and other people as well in the shop, to try and make a big effort to improve our process and try and get things dialed in for these subsequent Hudsons that we're building right now. So it's all really, really super. I really appreciate you being here. Please let me know if you find any of that stuff that I talked about earlier, about our ticket system, if that's at all interesting to you. Yeah, anyway, I thank you for being here, and and I hope that whatever it is you're trying to do, I hope you're able to get out there and make it happen.